What would you do if you saw someone being hurt, outnumbered, and terrified, but stepping in meant risking your own life? Most people would walk away. But one single father, with everything to lose, chose differently that night, and nothing was ever the same again. It was past 10 p.m. when Daniel parked his old sedan near the back of the mall. The place was nearly deserted, the shops already closed, except for a dimly lit diner where he had promised to grab burgers for his 10-year-old daughter, Lily. Life hadn't been kind to him. Raising a child alone after his wife's passing wasn't something he had ever been prepared for. But he did it anyway, quietly, with small sacrifices that no one noticed but Lily. He was walking toward the diner entrance when he heard it, muffled cries. He froze. Then came the unmistakable sound of fists connecting, followed by cruel laughter. Something inside him twisted. He followed the noise into the alley behind the mall. There, under the flickering glow of a broken streetlight, he saw them, 3 men surrounding a young girl, no older than 18 or 19. Her clothes were torn, her face bruised, and her body trembling as one of them shoved her against the wall. They weren't just beating her, they were humiliating her, treating her like she was nothing. Daniel's heart pounded in his chest. Every instinct screamed at him to walk away. After all, he had Lily at home. What if these men turned on him? What if he didn't make it back to her? But then he thought of his daughter, her innocent smile, her little voice when she asked, "Daddy, you'll always keep me safe, right?" He couldn't bear the thought of being the kind of man who let someone else's daughter suffer while he turned away. He clenched his fists, swallowed his fear, and shouted, "Hey! Leave her alone." The men turned, their sneers twisting into anger. The tallest one stepped forward. "This ain't your business, old man. Walk away." Daniel's knees felt weak, but he stood his ground. "Then make it my business." What followed was chaos. They rushed at him, and Daniel fought back with every ounce of strength he had. He wasn't a trained fighter, just a father who refused to back down. He took punches, kicks, blows that rattled his ribs, but he kept swinging, fueled by something greater than fear. He managed to knock one man down, elbowed another hard enough to make him stagger. But 3 against 1 was too much. He was cornered, gasping for breath, when suddenly, sirens wailed in the distance. The men panicked and bolted into the night, leaving the girl crumpled on the ground and Daniel barely standing. He staggered over to her, chest burning, vision blurry. She looked at him with swollen eyes full of disbelief and whispered, why would you help me?" Daniel knelt beside her, ignoring the pain in his ribs. "Because, someone has to." The ambulance came quickly. Daniel sat on the curb, his face bloodied, ribs aching, while paramedics tended to the girl. He learned her name was Emily. She had run away from home weeks earlier, escaping an abusive stepfather, but found herself on the streets, vulnerable and alone. The men who attacked her had been following her for days, waiting for the chance to corner her. At the hospital, Daniel refused to leave until he knew she would be okay. The doctors stitched his cuts, wrapped his ribs, and urged him to rest, but his mind kept drifting back to Emily's fragile face. She reminded him of Lily, lost, scared, in need of someone to fight for her. When Emily woke the next morning, she found Daniel sitting in the chair beside her bed, his arm in a sling. She stared at him for a long time before whispering, "You could have died. Why risk it for me? I'm nobody." Daniel shook his head. "Don't ever say that. You're somebody's daughter. Somebody's whole world. Maybe they've forgotten it. But that doesn't make it less true." Tears streamed down Emily's cheeks. For the first time in months, she felt seen, felt human. Over the next few days, Daniel visited her often. Lily came along once, clutching a small teddy bear she insisted Emily should have. "Daddy says heroes don't wear capes," Lily told her softly. "But I think you're brave too, for surviving." Emily hugged the toy to her chest, breaking down completely. That little family, broken, yet full of love, had given her something she hadn't felt in a long time: hope. Weeks later, with help from social services and Daniel's persistence, Emily was placed in a safe foster program, finally free from the life that had scarred her. She kept in touch with Daniel and Lily, visiting often, slowly healing. One evening, as they sat together at the diner, Emily looked at Daniel and said, "That night, I thought my life was over. But you showed me it was just the beginning. You saved me, not just from them, but from myself." Daniel smiled, squeezing Lily's hand. Sometimes, all it takes is one person to step in, one person to say, "You matter." This story isn't just about a fight behind a mall, it's about courage, compassion, and the power of standing up when it would be easier to walk away. Because in a world where too many people look the other way, being the one who chooses to act can change everything, not just for the person you save, but for yourself as well.